You know you done fucked up, right? You know you just fucked up. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to The Den. If you're not familiar with The Den is the best conversation on the internet. And if you don't know, I am your host, Ed Honcho. Make sure you tune in live every night. We have these discussions at 10 p.m. Central Time live on YouTube. Make sure you're part of the live conversation. It's the best conversation. But today we have to talk about R. Kelly, man. And we have to talk about what's going on with this situation and why the interview may have just fucked R. Kelly over. Again, make sure you're following on all proper social media. You can catch The Den at Den Show Live on Instagram and Twitter on Facebook.com/Den Show Live. So here's the deal. Let's talk about R. Kelly. Let's talk about the interview a little bit, and let's kind of talk about how I feel about this whole situation. So I really feel like there's two sides to this story, but let's talk about first R. Kelly. R. Kelly got arrested a few days ago, maybe about a week ago or so, bailed out. Went to McDonald's. We talked about all that. If you missed that, go back and catch some of those streams or those videos. Only to a couple of days later now, he's put himself out on an interview with Gayle King. And let's be honest, R. Kelly was kind of all over the place. The way he answered some of the questions was questionable. The way he responded, the way he kind of avoided things. If you really pay attention, it's like he didn't really answer anything directly. He kind of sidestepped certain questions. The way he deflected was a little bit odd. His facial expressions, his just responses to everything. You have to really pay attention and look at his body language in that. And we can go back to a similar situation in Chicago with Jesse, and I talked about that when that happened. I'm gonna be honest, man. From a long-time R. Kelly fan to the allegations being made at this point, where there's smoke, there's fire, if there's the tape and all the other stuff that they're saying has happened, where I say I had to, I got to cut R. Kelly off, man. I really can't fuck with it. It's really sad to see that this may be the downfall of R. Kelly. I mean, this may be it. Now, again, if he comes out and he beats the case again, I think you're going to have a bunch of people back under, supporting him and everything else. But it's so sketchy at this point. I don't know. And again, I haven't watched the Surviving R. Kelly. I'm not going to participate in no shenanigans. That's just not my bag. But looking at evidence without being influenced by some, type of gossip type situation where, people are looking for drama. This is just me being an outside observer and looking at the facts of what's been going on in this case. And so then, after the interview and things, and again, I think it's a two-part. I think it's supposed to be some more tomorrow. Well, after this video is released, I guess would be tomorrow. He goes and gets arrested, $161,000 behind in child support, which is outrageous. I mean, I don't know how long it's been since he's paid child support, but that's a lot of fucking money for any fucking kids. But I don't know the full details there. But now he's back arrested, and I find that unfortunate because I don't know if there was a recent due date or something. Again, we'll talk about it more on the live stream this evening, and whatever day you catch us. We live stream every night, so just make sure you tune in 10 p.m. Central Time. We're always going live. Best conversation on the internet with the best people on the internet. The Den generates the denizens, the friends of the Den, all the Den folks. So shout out to all of you who've been supporting. And if you want to support the Den, I'll put that link in the description below, and I'll make sure there's a little graphic that pops up across the screen. We're trying to make the Den great again. But anyway, looking at R. Kelly in this situation and what's going on, man, it just really is unfortunate that it's gotten to this point. He almost seems like he's lost it. He's reached desperation. He's on the brink. This has been his last opportunity. And I guess with celebrities, they feel like, public opinion is going to save them. The court of public opinion. That shit don't matter. That's what old buddy thought. And R. Kelly, he's probably thinking it because he's looking into the cameras. It almost looked like Trapped in the Closet Part 117. I don't know how many parts. There's so many fucking pieces of that shit. I think I stopped after, 8 or 9? I don't know. That was a long time ago. But, it almost, you swore he was about to break out and start singing or some shit. Like, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. It almost doesn't seem real. And I feel bad for the man because he does need help. He said that. He is delusional. I think he is delusional. But I think that he spoke some truth. Now, I don't know how much it applies to this case, but there's something that you do have to think about. And what he said, he says he's telling the truth. And he talked about, how he's being made out to be a monster and, that social media, and you can go out at any time and say something about a celebrity and gain notoriety, and then you can capitalize off of that, whether it's true or not, because it takes time for the facts to come out. And all you have to do is be in the presence of that celebrity, and people will believe you, especially if it's a celebrity that they want to believe bad things about. Now, let's talk about that. again, I'm not familiar with all of the people who were on the video, but he basically said of the two, I think, claimants who have basically come out, he said, you know, hey, well, one came to a concert when she was 19. Her dad talked to a friend to put him on the stage. That dad, in my opinion, don't give a fuck what you think happened with him, with R. Kelly and the chick. The dad is a piece of shit. At 19, she's not super familiar with R. Kelly's music. He wasn't popping back at that time. You know, these youth, these teenagers now are not really rocking with R. Kelly like that. It's been a long time. When he was relevant, they were young and probably not listening to that shit. And I'm sure they weren't choosing to go to an R. Kelly concert. There were people out there who were familiar with R. Kelly's weaknesses. And not saying that his weaknesses or we should feel sorry for him. He should have those things in control. But I do believe that these parents push these children into R. Kelly's face. The other one wanted a singing deal. They know how R. Kelly is, was, will be, whatever happens with this. And they tried to exploit that. And I believe him when he says once the money wasn't coming in, once they weren't getting money out of it, then they, you know, wanted to turn the table. That's what I honestly believe. And I think all the parents involved in this shit who put their children around R. Kelly, knowing the allegations prior to, they're pieces of shit. And they should be fucking punished in some way also, because they put their daughters in those situations. I believe you've heard lots of stories, not just R. Kelly, if you really go back and do a little research, of famous people throughout history, celebrities whose people will push their kids on them. And how disgusting is that? Somebody who's willing to put their kids in harm's way for fortune, fame, success, notoriety, whatever the fuck it may be, or just to hope to squeeze some money out of somebody. Like, is your kid that talented? Are they not that talented? Are you willing? It's almost like the people talk about sacrificing, but you're willing to sacrifice your own flesh and blood, essentially. And I'm not saying to kill them or anything like that, but you're willing to sacrifice them, put them in harm's way, hoping something happens so that you can exploit a situation. That's a devious, deceitful, just trash type person. And I believe that, hey, who's throwing money now? Is the documentary throwing some money? Well, here, we'll pay you a little bit of something for your story. They're going wherever the money is. Once the money ran out for R. Kelly, obviously can't pay child support. He talked about in the I Admit song about a year ago how he was broke, and that's why he's still making music and doing all this stuff because he has to. He didn't make his own bail. The lady came out with the daycare. She came and paid the bail for him. You know, it's sketchy, and I believe there's a lot more to do with money than anything. Money, fame, you know, shit like that. People are disgusting, and you see it all the time. You can't trust anybody, whether it be a celebrity, whether it be a normal person. In this day and age of social media, instant fame, and all that other shit, people are looking for any opportunity. They don't care who they have to put in harm's way. They don't care if it's their own flesh and blood. We've seen this time and time again. Whatever it takes to get to the top. And I do believe that some of these parents, especially the fathers of these daughters, are the most deceitful pieces of trash ever, because any man who's going to put his own daughter in harm's way of another man willingly in hopes of something, he's a fucking scumbag. He's a piece of shit. He is no man. He's a fucking pussy. And I don't care whether or not, you know, he intended to do that. You knew who R. Kelly was. You were at the concert. You asked somebody to put her on stage. You're a piece of shit. Whether you tried to get a singing deal with R. Kelly, you know what type of man he was. You knew about the illicit. You knew all these things. If you were trying to get close to this person, you did some research on him, or you were familiar with the whole shit. There was nationwide news at the time when they were adults, or probably young adults, or whatever the fuck it was. They knew what the fuck they were doing. And this is not to justify anything for R. Kelly, but there's a lot of scumbag pieces of shit in this whole situation. And that's what I talk about, the entertainment industry. That's what I talk about, you know, whether it be music, whether it be acting, you know, this thing, that fame that people chase, it's a disgusting fucking thing. And people will use that against you. People will try to exploit you. And like I say, R. Kelly probably tried to exploit them in a way, and they tried to exploit R. Kelly in a way, and it all comes up to this clusterfuck. And I can't wait to see what happens, because I'm hoping that R. Kelly airs everything out, because he's been telling all his business as of late. So shit, what else has he got to lose? I hope he airs everything out, because they're going to attempt to air everything out that they can on him. And I'm gonna be honest, I think R. Kelly's probably going to end up on the losing side of this. And just looking at his responses in that interview, it just makes me question a whole lot. And I'm concerned for the man, but at the same time, you know, if those things are true that happened, what he did, he's disgusting, and he deserves to go to jail. But at the same time, those fathers, those mothers, anybody who willingly put their kids in harm's way, anybody who willingly put their kids around R. Kelly, a teenager, now if you're a young adult or you're of legal age or whatever else, some of that stuff is questionable. You're grown, you know what the fuck you were doing, you know what was up. But these teenagers, and whose parents put them around this man, knowing of the allegations, even if it's not true, even the allegations of his predatory nature, this is nothing new. You knew better than that. But anyway, like I said, we'll be live at 10 p.m. tonight. Those are just my thoughts. We'll deep dive into it a little bit more on the stream tonight, so make sure you tune in to the best conversation on the internet. Again, I'm your host, Ed Honcho. Make sure if you want to support The Den, go to streamlabs.com/The Den Show. Make sure you're following on all the proper social medias. Again, facebook.com/The Den Show or Den Show Live, and then at Den Show Live on Instagram and Twitter. Same name, different platforms. I appreciate you for watching the video. Hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell for the notification. And make sure you tune in, because we go live every single night at 10 p.m. Don't miss the livest conversation on the internet. You can call in with your thoughts, call into the Den line and express how you feel about whatever the topic is that evening. But with that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Again, I'm your host, Ed Honcho, and I'm out.